Doesn't it drive you nuts when you go to the store and you see dozens of different brands of eggs? How do you know which ones to buy to get the best value? Hi, I'm Susan Marx, and I'm here to bring you greater clarity on how to live a long and healthy life. I do the research so you don't have to. Today's topic, eggs. How to get the best eggs for your buck and how to tell if your eggs are fresh. First, let's determine how to tell if your eggs are fresh. Then I'll show you what to look for on the carton labels. Those labels can be really misleading, so don't be fooled. And if you're like me, you don't want to waste money on something of no benefit. You want to make sure you're getting real value. After this video, you'll be clear on which eggs are best for you and your family. Did you know that the older eggs are, the more their protein content diminishes? Don't waste your money on eggs that aren't fresh. And the freshest eggs will come from your local farmer's market. But if you're at the grocery store, here's what you should look for. The good news is that most eggs reach the stores in only a few days after the hen lays them. In most states, 2 dates can appear on the egg carton. One date is a little tricky to figure out, but it's the date that the eggs were placed in the carton. This number is a 3-digit code that represents the consecutive day of the year, starting with January 1st as 001 and ending with December 31st as 365. And this may vary by state, so I took a look at some eggs and here's what I found. In the first example, these eggs were packaged on January 13th, 013, the 13th day of the year, and they must be sold by February 11th. On this next carton, the date is a little more challenging to decipher. The sell-by date is at the top, April 9th, 2013, and the date placed in the carton is 070, or the 70th day of the year, which is March 11th. On both these cartons, there are about 4 weeks between the packing and sell-by dates, so it's pretty safe to assume that the eggs are approximately a month old at the supermarket sell-by date. Ideally, consuming eggs within 2 weeks of gathering is best from a nutrition perspective, so don't stock up. Buy them frequently so that they are fresh each time you eat them. And how do you tell if your eggs are fresh? If you're at all uncertain about the freshness of an egg, don't eat it. You don't want a salmonella infection, do you? There's an air cell in the larger end of each egg. Put your eggs in a bowl of water. The very fresh egg will immediately sink to the bottom and lay flat on its side. Eggs that tilt so that the large end is up are a little older, and eggs that float are rotten. Also, a fresh egg will feel heavy, while a bad egg will feel light. Okay, so you know that little white ropey strand in the middle of the egg? I've always thought they were kind of gross, and I sometimes remove them when I'm eating the egg. Well, contrary to my wild imagination, they are neither imperfections nor beginning embryos, and they're completely safe to eat. It's called chalaza. Its function is to anchor the yolk in the center of the egg. As a matter of fact, the more prominent the chalaza, the fresher the egg. And the plural of chalaza is chalazae. So see what you can learn from a video? You can also test the egg's freshness by breaking the egg onto a plate. The yolk of a very fresh egg will be round and compact in appearance and will sit positioned quite high up in the middle of the egg. The white that surrounds it will be thick and stay close to the yolk. A cloudy coloring in the egg white is actually a sign of extra freshness, as this cloudiness is in fact carbon dioxide, which is present when the egg is laid. If the egg white is watery or the egg yolk breaks easy, it's old, just throw it away. And last but not least, hold the egg up to your ear and shake it. Don't hear anything? It's fresh. Well, when you think of color, white, brown, or speckled, no matter what you've heard, there's absolutely no difference, folks. The only reason the shells are a different color is the breed of hen that lays them. There's no nutritional difference and no difference in taste. But like I said, not all eggs are created equal. So let's see what we should look for on the labels. They're not very straightforward and can be a little misleading. So if the only thing you see on your label is that it says United Egg Producer Certified, this doesn't mean much. Every egg producer follows this minimal program. Basically, it gives hens a whopping 67 square inches of space, which is actually less area than a sheet of paper. This label means very little. Next, cage-free. I think this label's a tad misleading too. This is what cage-free looks like. It means that the hens are uncaged inside barns or warehouses. The label gives no indication of what they're fed, and there are no standards and no auditing to ensure compliance. Not your best option. Next, certified humane. This is one step up from cage-free because there are standards in place for the available number of perches, laying boxes, and stock density so that the hens can perform some natural behaviors such as nesting, and there is third-party auditing in place. But just like cage-free, the hens can be kept inside at all times, never seeing the sun during their entire lifetime. So certified humane on the label is slightly better than cage-free just because of the standards and auditing. Free range, free roaming. These two terms are used interchangeably. There are USDA standards for free-range poultry, but not for eggs. When the carton says free range, it most often means that the hens are uncaged while indoors and have access to the outdoors. There is no guidance as to frequency, duration, or outdoor conditions, and no third-party auditing. So since there are no standards and no auditing, it's hard to tell with this one, but at least these birds have a chance to see the sun, and it's a better choice than cage-free or certified humane. Natural. This is one of those pet peeves of mine, so you'll hear me say it over and over and over. Natural on a food label means nothing. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing. Natural on a food label means nothing. Farm fresh. Again, don't be fooled. The word farm conjures up rolling green fields in our mind, but a factory farm with hens and warehouses can still put this label on their eggs. There's no standard for it. And just because the label has the word fresh printed on it, you still have to check the carton expiration date. No antibiotics, no hormones. By law, laying hens are not allowed to be given hormones and are not allowed to produce eggs if on antibiotics. So basically, all eggs are hormone and antibiotic free, which is good news. So if you see this on the label, perhaps they're just trying to charge more. You've heard the old saying, you are what you eat. Well, one of my favorite authors, Michael Pollan, in his book, In Defense of Food, takes that a step further and says, you are what you eat eats. Bottom line, the higher quality the hens feed, the better the nutrient value and taste of the egg. So if you see on the label the words vegetarian fed, this has no significance to the hen's living conditions, but it does mean that the hen's feed does not contain any animal byproducts. Many vegetarian fed hens are given corn and soy, and these are generally from genetically modified crops, since corn and soy are the #1 and #2 GMO crops. In my opinion, this may not be worth the higher price, but it is one point of information on the label. You need to look for others. Omega-3 enriched. In order to have omega-3 enriched eggs, the hens have to be fed foods containing omega-3 fatty acids. So their foods generally contain things such as flax seeds. This is a good choice, but a couple of enriched eggs won't be enough to meet your needs for omega-3s. So be sure to also eat fish, flaxseed, and olive oil. Pasture-raised. This term means the hens feed from the pastures where they also consume grass and worms, a natural diet for a hen. They may still be penned or fenced, but they do have outdoor land where they can perform their natural behaviors like nesting, foraging, and perching. Look for pasture-raised and you'll be heading in the right direction. Pasteurized. This is not to be confused with pasture-raised. This means that the eggs underwent a warm water bath to kill bacteria and then were coated with a light wax. If you're highly susceptible to foodborne illnesses, you could consider looking for pasteurized on the label. Pasteurized eggs are common in hospitals and nursing homes. Organic. This label covers both the feed and the living conditions for the hens. For eggs to be labeled organic, they must come from farms that meet the USDA's national organic standards and are routinely inspected to ensure compliance. Hens must be fed organic feed, no animal byproducts, or genetically modified crops. The feed must be free of pesticides, commercial fertilizers, fungicides, and herbicides. The organic label not only tells you about the high quality of the hen's feed, but it also lets you know that the hens are maintained in a cage-free environment and allowed access to the outdoors. This is a label to look for. Fertile. You guessed it, those hens were hanging out with roosters, meaning they were most likely free to roam or pasture-raised. As for the egg's nutritional value due specifically to fertilization, that remains a highly debatable topic. Personally, I don't pay extra for fertilized because I haven't seen conclusive evidence of its improved nutritional value. But again, that's your choice. So let's do a label summary. If you want the most nutritional eggs possible, don't be concerned about the color, do be concerned about the freshness. At a minimum, choose certified humane and cage-free. Good would be to choose free range or free roaming. Better would be to choose omega-3 enriched. And to get the best value and most nutrition, choose fresh, organic, or pasture-raised eggs. Like most things, you get what you pay for. The most nutritious eggs will most likely be slightly more expensive than the substandard eggs. But let's break this down. How much more? I went to my local grocery store and here's what I found. A high-quality, highly nutritious carton of eggs was $1 more than the eggs of inferior quality. That's about 8 cents per egg more. Well, I think it's worth it to give your family a whole food that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals. Next, I want to clear up a common misconception. Eggs do not raise your cholesterol. Dr. Mark Hyman, author of many books, including The Blood Sugar Solution and Ultrametabolism, says this about eggs. Eggs are one of the few animal products that are low in toxins and high in nutrients and balance blood sugar. They contain lots of DHA and they don't raise your cholesterol. Eggs contain cholesterol, however, the amount of cholesterol in food is so minimal that it has no significant effect on your blood cholesterol. Now I'm going to take one more minute to give you some fun facts and tips on eggs. Here you go. The fresher the egg, the harder it is to remove the shell once it's hard boiled. However, to make it peel easier, just add 1 teaspoon of baking soda to the water when you cook it and it'll peel very easily. Eggs will stay fresher if you store them in the refrigerator with the small end down in their original carton. Make sure there are no cracks in your eggs. If there are, throw them away. Not sure? Immerse it in water. If tiny bubbles come up, it's cracked. Don't eat it. Studies comparing the USDA nutrient data for commercial eggs and eggs from hens raised on a pasture found that the pasture-raised eggs contain 1/4 less saturated fat, 2/3 more vitamin A, 3 times more vitamin E, 2 times more omega-3 fatty acids, and 7 times more beta-carotene. Now that's added nutrition worth paying for. Each whole egg is only 75 calories and has 6 grams of protein, contains all 9 essential amino acids, and is highly concentrated with vitamins and minerals. 6 grams of protein and only 75 calories? That's ideal if you're attempting to lose fat and gain muscle. And here's our last fun fact. Did you know that a cruise ship packs 44,500 eggs for their 7-day voyages? Who knew? The very best way to ensure that you're getting high-quality eggs is to buy them locally, either from an organic farm or farmer's market. Fortunately, finding organic eggs locally might be easier than you realize. You can go to cornucopia.org to get an egg scorecard or localharvest.org to find a farmer's market near you. Did you know that almost everyone in the United States has a farmer's market within 5 miles of their home? Stay on top of your health. Head on over to greaterclarity.com and sign up for my email tips and I'll send you the Easy Egg Shopping Guide. You'll have all the information you need for finding the best eggs right at your fingertips. While you're there, I want to hear from you. Leave your best egg advice. The community will appreciate you. It's my job to make it easy for you to stay informed, stay healthy, and live life with energy and zest. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel and feel free to send it to everyone you love. Remember, you're powerful because of your ability to choose. Choose to take care of your health so you can shine your light on everyone around you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Go, energy, energy, energy. Get all the energy going.